Jai Sri Ram, friends. Welcome to Bharat Marg. So happy to be here. Vinay Ji, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And it's absolute pleasure having you again here. Welcome, 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 friends. Today we are going to talk about a major attack that was planned in Canada, okay, and how the student visa played a role in it, okay. Watch out. Vinay Ji is going to cover that, friends. It's a must-see video. Watch till the end. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. See what's happening. What Canada has come to. It's unbelievable. Okay. But before going further, friends, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video with as many people as you can, and also press the notification bell and subscribe the channel if you didn't already, and press the notification bell to stay connected with us so that whenever we go live, you can come and join. And we are also involved in many services, friends. Like teaching Sanskrit, Vedic mathematics free, and you have our matrimonial service also available. Everything is free. We take dan, no fees. So please, if you are a person who is interested in anything, feel free to message us. Our WhatsApp number is available below everywhere, and you can contact us. And if you like what we are doing, do share the video with as many people as you can, and also donate us by contacting us in the WhatsApp, by messaging us through WhatsApp, and also by going to bharatmark.com and press the notification button to donate, and so that you can support us. Okay, Vinay ji, welcome.
Thank you, Ji.
Welcome. It says about it. Student visa, terror attack. What is all the things happening here in Canada? Where are we? How we have come to this?
Well, people, used to assume that only, uh, the immigrants coming on asylum or refugee status, these are the people who are crossing the border illegally from the United States, or those are the people who are a threat to Canada and the North American. I'm not talking just Canada alone, but I'm talking North America, that includes the United States as a whole. Threat to the United States and threat to Canada was mainly coming from these people. That was the assumption, like asylum seekers, refugee people, people coming on refugee status, and people who are crossing borders illegally. Mainly three categories. Okay, but what surprises me
Right.
is that there are other categories through which people are allowed to come to Canada on a legal basis. Okay, and now
Hmm.
these people are posing a threat to North American security. So a 20-year-old man from Pakistan, Mohammad Shahzeb Khan, aka Shahzeb Jadoon, 20 years old, and he's originally
How
from
are you
Pakistan.
saying the name? Then people will know where is he from and what he is. Don't say the name,
No, no,
please.
this is okay. Surprisingly, the Canadian government has given a name, because normally they hide the names of accused because they don't want to people to
But
judge.
yeah,
Okay.
if there is a terrorist attack like this, people know what the name could be.
Yeah, but let's not assume it. There have been people from other communities. They call it, in the Congress Party in India call them Hindutva terrorists, and other people call Christian terrorists, and many other terrorists. So terrorists are not, according to the Lutyens group in India. Terrorists are not just Muslims or whatever. Terrorists could be anybody. Okay. So, but in this case, they have identified the person, Mohammad Shahzeb Khan, aka Shahzeb Jadoon, 20 years old, from Pakistan. He recently applied for a student visa. That was recently, meaning about a year and a half ago, in May 2023. And he entered Pearson Airport on June 24th of 2023. Okay, and this man was you know was in Toronto, and he set
Hmm.
out from Toronto on September the 4th, just about 8 days ago. Okay, in what authorities allege was an ISIS plot to slaughter Jewish people in New York on or around the October 7th anniversary of the Hamas attack in Israel that killed 1,200 people and saw more than 200 taken captive. So this was the mega plan. So he came 1 year ago. He has planned this 1 year ago. I don't think he came here actually to study and become, something like a scholar or go into some profession. He had ulterior motives. He was accused of planning the mass slaughter of Jewish people in New York City, and he was planning this in Toronto. Okay, and he started planning it probably even before he applied for his visa, because they wanted to see how these terrorists can enter Canada. Out of these three normal means that terrorists come into Canada, which I already explained to you. Okay, so he was looking for a fourth path, which is applying for a student visa. Okay, so the funny thing is, um, you know, the uh, the attack that was actually perpetrated by the Palestinians on innocent people by crossing the border into Israel and killing, slaughtering, raping women, abducting children, killing children, and taking about 200 people captive. These are the things that Hamas, the terrorist organization in Palestine, actually inflicted on the Israeli people. The Israeli people on that particular night were actually partying. They were having a good time, having their dinner, whatever, right? But these terrorists came from Palestine and entered Israel and just basically completely changed the lives of these people overnight, within minutes. Okay. And out of the
Hmm.
200 people, a few people were released, but they are still holding about 100 or something like that. So many people still captive. Okay. And what Israel is saying is, you have to release our people even before we come to the table to start
But
talking about.
means what is the purpose of? See, the Jews were attacked on October 7th, right? But then what is the purpose of attacking the and mass murdering the Jews in Canada? To celebrate it, what is the intention of it? Means it is not enough how much
It's
people
basically,
got
see,
butchered.
terrorists, the way terrorists operate, they want to terrorize people. Okay, they want to create a sensation that is actually goes across the world. Now imagine if this particular thing had happened in New York on the anniversary of the Hamas attack on October 7th, that is coming up in about a month's time or about 3 weeks time. Okay, imagine if, even if one, two, or 100, or or 1,000 Jewish people were killed by this lone rider. Imagine what would have happened. I mean, that would have created a huge sensation, and people would have said, "Oh my God, Hamas is so active even in North America," and blah blah blah. And whether he gives up his own life or whatever, right? That doesn't matter,
But do
because
you think one person can plan all these things like getting a
no,
visa?
no, no, no,
Uh,
no. See, listen, this cannot be done by one 20-year-old person. This 20-year-old person is actually a victim of a much bigger conspiracy.
or
Okay.
a partner of?
Yeah, I call these people victims because they are young, they are extremely vulnerable, and they get carried away, and that's why I call them victims. But at the same time, when a person attains majority, 18 years old, he's supposed to use his own brains, whether to, when somebody gives him a task, Is it a good task, bad task? Am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed not to do this? But the problem is these people get inspired by the religion, right? There are people who actually say that, oh, in Islam you got to do this, this is actually going to get you 72 versions, and once you die and all that. They kind of create this kind of a thing about, all this hype about, the religion, and inspire these youngsters to commit these acts. And then the youngsters, they don't know, they commit the act unknowingly, and they think,
This
what
is part of
I
the
did,
plan.
I'm going to get
This is
72
part of the
words.
plan. Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to quickly give you one incident that I just covered it yesterday. This is in Surat, Gujarat. Okay, the Ganesh Chaturthi function was attacked, and stones were thrown at Ganesh ji, and 90% of them were plus or minus 10-year old.
Hmm.
10-year old.
Wow.
Yeah. So watch
No,
out.
but you're right. I mean, these youngsters and whatever are either victims or are inspired by, all this religious diktats and whatever, right? So, and it's a lot of these Islamic mullahs and, these teachers who are all fundamentalists. They kind of teach them these things. Okay, and I'll tell you something about this. Coming back to this attack or the planned attack. Apparently this gentleman, 20-year-old Khan, he wrote to an undercover cop through encrypted message, okay, days before his arrest.
Means in a plot to catch him.
And yeah, he basically he wrote that to the undercover cop, and he said that, he boasted about his plan, and he said this would be the largest attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. No point in living like this. Better to die as a martyr in your youth, according to this U.S. court filing. So imagine how brutally these guys have been brainwashed, and they kind of do things completely on a whim, just for in the name of religion. And now coming back to the point of U.S. visa, I mean the sorry student visa. Um, People are coming on student visas, visitor visas, medical visas, and so many other tourist visas. What is the guarantee that terrorists are not coming in? Because the Canadian border security is basically watching for these three main people who come in through, for as terrorists, through the means of asylum, shelter seekers that are, basically, sorry, refugee people, and then people who cross the border illegally, and those are being watched quite a bit. But there is a bit of I should say, a neglect, I can say, or a little bit of latitude in kind of in the security of the people coming in, and sorry, background checks of the people coming in, on visitor visa, tourist visa, student visa, medical visa, or any of these. So now people are thinking, or terrorists are
But
thinking, okay,
but let me ask you this.
this is the
Yeah.
best way to come into Canada. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in these less monitored avenues. But how do you think the immigration policy of Trudeau government has facilitated this? What is your thought on it or take on
That's
it?
exactly what I'm saying. The immigration policy is so flawed and so, it's lacking so much of policies and so much of discipline, that and people are taking it for granted. And okay, imagine a bunch of students have come here to study, and what is their visa says? The visa says you have been permitted to come into Canada to study and go back to your home country. But now these people are so kind of, they think they have the privilege, and they and they're privileged to kind of fight for their rights to settle in Canada. They're actually protesting in various parts of Canada right now, saying that, oh, Canadian government has to give us the right to settle in Canada, give us the immigration status. They cannot kick us out. And this is what, they think they're entitled. They're entitled bunch of
No,
kids
no, no,
who
means
are
you see
who are
you cannot say only that because the country has taken advantage of them. Okay,
the country might have
you
taken
know.
advantage of them, but
Yeah,
the people who
basically, let me say you, they use them as a vote bank to carry the votes. It means to show numbers in the worship places. So many things are happening. So the country had directly or indirectly played a role in facilitating
I wouldn't say the
extracting such money.
country. I would point to the Liberal Party, because I mean, when you point to the country, it means that all of us are part of it, right?
Means see the king of the country is
The
what the
government.
country is all about.
Yeah, the government and the Liberal Party is the one that actually brought them in on under various promises, and many provincial
and
states
and
also.
and
Also,
you had to see, you had to also keep in light. Okay, Vinay ji, you covered this, nobody better than you to cover on the subject. Here in this country, the people who come with fake passports are honored in the parliament, and the people who are Nazis are honored in the parliament. So natural it is for somebody, young kids, to think that they can be honored as a martyr in the future also. Don't you think so?
no, I mean, like, the thing is, end of the day, yeah, I feel that the Canadian government, yes, has flawed, as has they have slacked off on those immigration policies, but at the same time, the students coming in are taking advantage of the situation, and they are basically saying that it's our right to settle in Canada. How the heck can it be their right to settle in Canada? They got to follow the proper means that we all came into Canada. We did not come in these, through these illegal means. There is a process. There is
Listen,
a platform
listen.
in place through which you have to
You
come.
you say it is a process. You say yeah, there is a process, but I want to say you, in this country, the people who came illegally have been honored in the parliament. What kind of signal it sends?
That see, that is what I'm talking about. I'm not denying it. I'm saying, yes, these people have the Liberal government, under their flawed immigration policies and whatever, has done all of that, but at the same time, the students cannot take advantage of the situation, saying, oh, anyway, you know what,
Yeah, but
it's like basically saying, when there's a riot, right? If one person is seen looting one store, the entire rioters, hundreds of people, start looting other stores. Is that right? That is not right. That is
yeah,
exactly
but
what's happening
see,
here.
what is happening is that whether that is their motive or not, that's facilitating is what I'm thinking, because I may be wrong. Maybe you and the people who watch the video can say that is, they, when you recognize the people who come illegally, when you recognize the people who are in drug dealing, when you are recognizing the people who are criminals, gangsters, in parliament openly, and naturally it gives hope for the other criminals that they can become
And
heroes
that
one
is
of
that
these
is
days.
not right. There is a process in place, there is a policy in place, there are regulations in place, and there are rules in place through which you can immigrate to Canada. I'm not saying you don't immigrate to Canada. There are rules in place. You follow those rules. You come through this. There are point systems through which you can immigrate to Canada. Come in through those means, not sitting on, in one intersection, at the corner of an intersection, and fighting with some placards and saying, oh, you got to give us immigration. What the hell is this? I mean, these people are
and
failures.
and they will get it.
I
Uh,
do not want to
and
say
they will get it. And they will get it.
they may, I'm not sure, but these
That's
guys
why.
are failures. They are failures in life. What do they do here in Canada? They eat into the Canadian system. They are living off of dole money. They are basically living off of their what the government pays them on a monthly basis, just to keep them. They live in co-op homes, and they live in dire conditions, and they don't have enough qualifications to work here, because they have not passed the courses that they came here for. and they failed those courses, and they're agitating in front of those colleges and universities, saying that, oh, you got to give us you got to pass us in these courses. We did a lot of hard work and blah blah
Now,
blah. If you did hard work, if you did all that hard work to study and all of that, then you should not have failed. Nobody is going to be against you.
absolutely. But let me ask you this question. Now, this guy comes in the student visa from Pakistan. Okay, he comes from the student visa and he didn't create any red flags in the system. He comes in and he works on it, and thank God, the undercover police. Many times the police are capable if they get a free hands, but in Canada many times they don't. Luckily, he got caught. But now, what kind of checks and balances they are bringing in, or they will just it is one another case.
Well, here's the I'll give you a quote from National Post. Okay. So Terry Newman wrote in National Post, in Gaza, in Palestine, right, like where or the Gaza Strip, uh, terrorists need tunnels. Are you following me? In Gaza, terrorists need tunnels. In Canada,
Mhm.
they simply apply for visas. Did you follow that? So our student visa program apparently has always been
In
one of the
Canada,
weak.
no, I lost you. Can you repeat what you are saying? In Canada,
In Canada,
in
terrorists
Gaza, terrorists need tunnels. In Canada,
in Gaza, terrorists need tunnels. In Canada, they simply need to apply for visas.
And
wow,
So our student visa
unbelievable.
program has always been one of the weakest links in Canada's national security. All right. And on Tuesday, Mark Miller,
well,
okay, Ma- Mark Miller
City
is actually the
Canada.
is one of the ministers in the Trudeau government, and he's the immigration minister actually.
Who is in the screen right now, as you can see. Yeah, he's on
Exactly,
the screen right now.
exactly. So this
Okay.
man, he actually on Tuesday during
Ending up
an interview with the reporter during a press conference, he basically said he was, first of all, he was breathless,
map
his voice was quaking, and he was noticeably nervous. And he said, I've been getting questions about an individual that entered Canada and has been
of
arrested in charges related to an attempt to cross the border for a terrorist plot. And he then confirmed, that is, Miller confirmed, that Muhammad Khan is a Pakistani national who was issued a student
path.
visa in May 2023 and waltzed, literally danced through the Pearson airport the following month. Miller had the disposition of someone
On a
surprised by the news when he
Jewish
was told that this
community in
man
New York.
was
Court documents reveal alarming
plotted a
details
terrorist
police
attack.
say were shared in
But
encrypted
he said he
messaging
shouldn't
apps
have been.
by a
Our student
Pakistani
visa program
national
has
and
always
an
been one of
alleged
the weakest
ISIS
links in Canada's
sympathizer.
national security.
SCTV's John Woodward reports the terrorism case has the federal
He
opposition
said that.
demanding answers.
It was an unusual sight in Ormstown, Quebec.
He said that.
Photos
Yeah,
show dozens of police officers descending to
Wow.
arrest
exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and
one man.
it is
Mohammed
given that he
Shahzad
was
Khan,
intended to use
also known
semi-automatic
as
and
Shahzad.
automatic weapons. Where he would have got it from in Canada?
Because the thing is, this guy is just a carrier. Okay. So and the plot, the way things work in terrorism, somebody sitting
June.
either in Pakistan or who knows, Syria or Afghanistan or any of those countries is planning the attack. Okay. And they send one or more carriers. And I don't think Muhammad Khan was by himself. I think he has got accomplices, but he has not come out with any of that yet. And I don't think he's a lone ranger. All right. So I'm pretty sure this was not planned in a way where he is just let go loosely and asked to blow himself up or whatever in the United States, in New York. I'm pretty sure he had accomplices, at least people who are planning, providing him the weapons, the bombs and guns or whatever he needs in Toronto, okay, or in the US, okay. And these people are the ones who are going to provide him with all the equipment and all the machinery and all the money and everything that he needs, resources to make this happen. Okay, he is just one of the guys who is like probably set himself as a human bomb or whatever, right? So unfortunately, that still has not come out yet. I mean, the investigation is still very preliminary, and I'm hoping that the Toronto police and the New York police and the FBI and and whoever else is going to be involved, they should obviously go right deep into it and actually expose the plot and see who else was involved and bring out these names. But they will never be able to catch the guy who is the main conspirator, right? Who actually sits either in Pakistan or Syria or who knows where. That they'll never be.
Even Osama bin Laden was sitting right there under their nose, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, it's a mind-boggling. But
Yeah. I
but
just want to.
another
I
one
just
thing
want
I want
to
to
add.
touch upon, right?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, and this is not the first time Canada's student visa program has revealed its shortcomings. Okay, in 2013, two men, Raid Jasser and Chiheb Esagayar, planned to carry out a terrorist attack on a Via Rail passenger train in Canada. Okay, thankfully, their attempt was also foiled. They were caught, convicted, and sentenced. All right, and they also came on a student visa. And Chiheb was a 30-year-old Tunisian PhD student living in Quebec, and during his studies at University of Quebec in nanotechnology lab, he was threatened with expulsion for his disruptive behavior, strict religious views that alienated his colleagues. Okay, and he came on the visa programs. His colleagues and members of the university admin considered his behavior to be off, and yet no one alerted the government officials in charge of the student visa program. Perhaps some process changes are required right now.
No, no, that is in Quebec. If it is here, you cannot even raise your voice.
I don't understand
Okay,
that.
in
What
Quebec,
do you
at
mean by
least you
that?
have certain rights. Yeah, in
No, no,
Quebec, they were
Quebec is part
against
of
the
Canada, right? I mean, I don't know.
against the, no, no. In Quebec, they came out with the rule for against the hiding the face for teaching. They come out with their own rules.
Yeah, but the thing is, end of the day, it's
You
all
know.
part of Canada, right? I mean, like I don't know. Under they all come under the Canadian government. End of the day, okay. So the Canadian immigration policies are what needs to be reviewed and
And
fixed.
as far as he was planning to use the semi-automatic and automatic weapon, I just want to. It's not that it is not available in Canada, because we have seen the videos of the famous Niger, what is that, Guru Nanak Gurudwara president Niger, who was killed by the
He
gangsters.
was a
He
terrorist.
was using.
Yeah, he was a terrorist, and
Yeah.
he carried AK-47 openly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, so it's not that you don't get it in Canada.
Yeah.
These
You can
people
get it in
have
Canada,
access
but the
to.
thing is, to cross the border, it's going to be a challenge. From Canada to the US, if you're carrying a weapon or a bomb or whatever, the security may stop you. I mean, if you're crossing the border by in a car, I mean, there is a 50-50 chance. Like, they may pull you over, they may not. It depends. I mean, not every car is checked, right? But if you're flying, every person is checked. So risking weapons across the border from Canada to US is going to be a risk. So I'm pretty sure they have
Anyway,
people, accomplices in the United States who can supply all of that.
absolutely. But this is not the Canada what we thought it is. It
No,
just
it's
changed a
definitely not.
lot in the
Definitely
recent
not.
days.
No.
I hopefully it will go back one of these days. The good old days will ever come back is a big question. Only viewers and
Exactly.
can answer
Exactly.
for this. Thank you, Vinay Ji, for coming out and sharing the
Thank you.
thing. and appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you again in the next video. Till then, Jai Sri Ram,
Appreciate
Jai Sri
it. Thank
Ram.
you.
Friends, do let us know what do you think. The like Vinay Ji talks about the student visa is getting abused, and you know, uh, what do you think? Let us know. Okay, comment and share the video if you like. Thank you, Vinay Ji. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai
Thank you.
Sri Krishna.